What's up, good people? It's your boy Chris with Better Today Trades, back with another weekly recap for you guys. And today I got a lot of charts in store for you. So without further ado, I'm gonna just hop right into it. All right, guys. So continuing from my last, I think, couple videos, I've been really doing an analysis on the VIX. We're still expecting a move up to about 25, 30 on the VIX. So I just want to look, as you can see, this week on the VIX, we did finally go ahead and complete this accumulation cut pattern. As you can see, we went from putting in lower highs and lower lows here in all of these areas to putting in higher highs. This is a high, this is a high, this is a new high, and higher lows. This is a low, this is the low, this is higher low, this is a higher low, this is a higher low. So, this time of the year, we do see an increase in the VIX typically because of seasonality, because of the end of fiscal years. There's a lot of different reasons why we actually see the VIX move up in this time. But if you watch one of my other videos that I released a few weeks back, you'll see I did an analysis on the VIX, and we are expecting this VIX to surge a little bit more. But one thing when the VIX is up, the indices are typically down, and it was a bloody one for the Qs, my baby, the Qs. As you can see here, we are still in an uptrend, but we did break the year-to-date uptrend line this week. I had a bearish close near the lows for this correction period. So as you can see, we're putting in lower highs, high here, high in this area, high in this area, high in this area. So we have a short-term downtrend here, and although this is a shallow lower low, although this week we didn't put in another lower low, typically the third test will break through. So I'm expecting, unfortunately, a lower low to come up on this chart sometime between now and probably middle of November. And I'm thinking, what's the reason that the Qs are showing such weakness right now? And I go through the top holdings. I'm looking at Apple. Apple is still above its year-to-date uptrend. Let's check Microsoft. Microsoft is still well above its year-to-date uptrend. Albeit both of these, they're all in correction territory, so that doesn't help. Let's look at Google. Google Google is actually looking very strong here. Like, it was one to start its year-to-date run a little bit late because of the OpenAI, Microsoft, the whole debacle that went on. But Google still well above its year-to-date uptrend, which is really this one right here. But it's pulled so far away, I was able to draw another one here that it still hasn't broken. And then let's look at Meta. Meta's looking beautiful here. The year-to-date uptrend well intact. Meta has had a beautiful year. Amazon. So it's not the top brass that's showing weakness. It's everything below. Even Amazon is still above its year-to-date trend line. If you want to do the same thing you did with Google and draw another one, you can see this one did actually break, so it is showing a little bit of weakness. But the real culprit is Tesla. And there is another culprit as well. I'll show you after we go through this Tesla one. But as you can see, off of earnings this week, Tesla just got murdered. This short-term downtrend looks very strong. This is a high, lower high, another lower high last week, and we are actually making lower lows now since about July. We've got this low here, and as of this week, we did break this previous low. So we did close in a lower low territory just like the Qs. This looks a lot like the Qs. It's a slight lower low. The Qs is not quite a lower low yet, but as you can see, the weakness from Tesla missing on earnings and getting slaughtered has caused the Qs to drop. And the other culprit that we're going to look at is Nvidia. Everybody's this year's darling has finally decided to cool off a little bit. Now we'll see how long this lasts, but as you can see, because they do have earnings coming, I think it's let's see, November 21st they have earnings. So maybe they can work their magic again like they did the last 2 quarters, and we can really get some movement from them. But right now they are showing weakness, and they have broken below this year-to-date uptrend. And even if you were to draw the uptrend from that first earnings surprise that they had, they finally broke this one as well here. But I mean, this could be support for them. Like I said, they do have earnings coming out soon. So Nvidia is causing weakness and Tesla is causing weakness in the Qs. But hopefully, since we do have a big week of earnings next week, I think we got Microsoft, Google, Amazon coming up this week. Meta's also coming up this week. So if we have good earnings, this may be able to bolster the Qs to hold it up. And so now that we know that the Qs equities are basically got slaughtered this week, let's look at some of the things that actually did pretty well this week. Spoiler, it's all the things, all the typical hedges are actually doing well this week. If you look at treasury yields, the yield curve is flattening. It was inverted for such a long time, but now it's finally flattening. So the yields on treasuries finally giving you some money. And as you can see, this is the 10-year yield. Got it just missed 5% this past week, but we got the yields are taking off here in the 10-year. So treasuries are offering attractive yields here, and they had a great week as a result. Another one that actually had a really good week, if we want to look at it, is gold. If you look, gold basically is an oscillator over the last. This is a 3-year weekly chart, but as you can see, we have been in an uptrend basically all year, and while the indices were down, gold was up handsomely this week and last week as well. And if you look, you can see we got a high here. There's another a higher high over there. So we got a lower high here, but this is the relative high here. So we got a high, and then we've got another lower high, and then we've got another lower high, and those are coupled with lows, followed by lower lows, another lower low, and this huge drop here. Lad, looks like capitulation here with the gaps between weeks here. So it closed here, opened here, and then opened back up here, lower low. And then what do? We push up and we break above this high here. So now we've got a higher high. Now we do have resistance up here above 186 to about 190. If we touch that, we will likely pull back, and that's when we'll see if we can put in a higher low for gold. You might look at this as the handle on a cup pattern. Price comes down here, cups down here, and then as price gets back to the highs, we pull back and start to form the handle here. So if we can keep doing that, that would be bullish for gold. But once again, a hedge against the market. The typical hedges are doing pretty good this week against the markets. And then just some extra ones to look at. I'm looking at oil here. Oil has been a very volatile market the last couple of weeks with everything that's going on in the Middle East. But as you can see, gold has been putting in lower highs, lower lows up until about March or July. Since July, we have taken out this previous lower high, this area all up in here It's touching this area. As you can see, we pushed up, we got tapped here, and then we broke above. And so now we're putting in this. This is a higher high, high relative to this, relative to this, relative to this whole accumulation area right here with the cup. And then we've come back and put it in as support here, along with a higher low and another higher low. So oil is looking actually crazy bullish right here. And our last chart that we're going to look at today is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the newest quote unquote hedge against the traditional financial system. And as you can see, the Q's had a bad week, but Bitcoin did not, which, as you can see, we're in a huge downtrend on Bitcoin, but overall, we are in an uptrend. As you can see, the low is here. We haven't broken this low over here over the last 3 years. But if you look at this year, we are in an uptrend. Now, an uptrend when we're in a massive downtrend probably will get squashed, especially with Bitcoin being such a risky asset. But yeah, Bitcoin moved up this week. I think it was because of the fake news about the Bitcoin futures ETF being approved. Someone tweeted it. I think CoinDesk tweeted it, and everybody ran with it, thinking that it was a true story, and it was not a true story. So we spiked this week on Bitcoin, but all we really did was run into resistance. And then as soon as everybody found out it was fake, we kind of sold it a little bit. But it's actually still holding up pretty strong here. All right, guys. So that's your weekly recap from Better Today Trades. Take this information and go ahead and take on the next week with as much vigor and as much confidence as you can. Until next time, I will see you guys in the comments. Peace.